Hello and welcome to the Bear Pen. We are running our Blood on the Bayou Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle set in the amazing city of New Orleans. I am Adrian or Aries and I might have a slight cold today, so excuse me if I sound a bit weird. All right. We are coming into the final two episodes of this season of Blood on the Bayou, which is really, really cool. We have a couple of really interesting things in the works for everyone. We have 4 character vignettes, which are coming up exclusive for a while to our Patreon members. So if you would like to see those and get early access to them over the next so we have one more week after this, and then I guess in August, you will be able to view those episodes as they come out as members of our Patreon. We will have a special guest appearing in one of them of Melee Damage, which I am super looking forward to. And after about a month, we will be releasing them bit by bit onto our YouTube stream. So today, as always, we are in partnership with the fantastic Aesthetic Cult. For our family members out there, if you head over to their Etsy shop and use the discount code tabletop, you will get a discount which is exclusively linked to this stream here. They have amazing things like pendants and jewelry, and I believe they can do cups and they can do all sorts of custom pieces as well. So I would highly recommend jumping over to Aesthetic Cult's Etsy shop. The next thing I want to say, as always, is a thank you very much to Lance Thomas, who has the band Super Simple Side Dish, who does the intro music for us. And of course, to Avery Alexander, who has agreed to let us use music of his on our show. So you should be able to put in exclamation point music into the chat, and that should give you a bit of links to their stuff where you can go check them out. And if you have the desire, you can also join our fantastic community on Discord at the Honeypot. So come on down. We have a lot of good people doing a lot of good things. And if you want to share your views on games that are coming out, or if you want to potentially recruit for people for some of your own projects, we have some of those as well. You can say, hey, I'm playing a tabletop game. Does anybody want to join me? We are playing now. You're welcome to do that as well. We have a subscribers only lounge as well for our subscribers here on Twitch, where you can have episode spoilers and you can occasionally chat with cast members and interact with us. So I would highly recommend jumping on that too. Now we're going to go around and introduce our cast members, which everyone should be very familiar with by now. And we will just have everyone say hello and who they are playing this evening and where they can be found on the internet. And we'll go ahead and start with our friend Zach today.
Zach was not prepared for this. Hello, I'm Zach. I'll be playing Kenny. See you all in the story soon.
Fantastic. All right. So next up, why don't we go ahead and have Kira introduce himself and who he's playing today?
Hi, I am Kara858, and today I'm playing the lovable Sweet Bean Sour Patch Kids slash Starburst Gummy Burst Sora, who decided to get out of his comfort zone and help people escape this facility. Of course, there's not gonna be any after effects for that. What could go wrong?
It's not like Nosferatu might be everywhere,
Of
seeing
course not.
exactly what everyone's doing at all times. I mean, that couldn't be a possibility.
Be a possibility.
Next up, why don't we go ahead and have Michael introduce himself?
I'm playing Quinn Hamish, a resident Thin Blood, who's just come back into a sight of his original sire and is looking to exact some vengeance when the time is right. However, now is not the right time as we need to make our great escape.
Unfortunately, there is no Mushu moment for you this evening. Next up on my list is the fantastic Cassidy.
Hello, I am Cassidy. I am playing Sakura, and we're on the way to getting my kid back.
That you are. Next up on my list is Alex.
Hey everybody, I am Alex Hillman. I am a community manager, writer, developer, project manager over at Hunters Entertainment and one of the partners here at the Bear Pen. You've probably seen me on, Blood on the Bayou. I also occasionally appear over on Hunters in our weekly Rag and Bone series. And I am playing Andre Bassett or Nikolai Dietrich, whichever you prefer, really, honestly. And I wasn't here last week, so I missed out on the fun leading up to what's going on here. However, I do have to give Adrian credit there for a fantastic job portraying Nikolai as a NPC. I think he really actually did manage to capture him very well there. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens as we do our best to get Ricky back.
Indeed. All right. Next up on our list is the fantastic Glyza.
Hey guys, I'm Glyza from Classical Adventures for One, a podcast about classical books with a little bit of drama and a whole lot of trivia. I am playing Michaela, our very, very obvious, no other way about it, the most Toreador of all Toreadors, hashtag obvious Toreador. And she just got shot. She's all good now, but she's still sort of dealing with the after effects of getting shot. But I'm pretty sure nothing bad's gonna happen this time around. She's gonna be okay.
A-okay. And our next wonderful person on the list is Elijah. Oh, sorry, Harry.
I mean, at this point in time, where does he start and I begin? Hi, I'm Ari. I'll be playing Elijah Smith, who is completely and utterly having a fun time watching people get shot. No way, shape, or form is he going to lose his temper anywhere near this site.
I'm sure he's keeping his cool, as is tradition, which is fine. And of course, I am Asian Bear or Aries. And the last thing that I do want to say is that we do have our first of our Monday miniseries starting tomorrow, the City of Mist game. So if you are available at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, come and join us for some very, very fun urban fantasy noir shenanigans with some really cool characters in a really fun system. So I hope you guys will come and check that out. That will be great. So we are going to jump into our intro song here, and we'll see you in a minute. welcome back. So, our players last week had found themselves on not quite Reed Avenue, but in the East New Orleans area where there are many shipping containers, where it seems that the members of the Sunrise Association, as well as various Thin Bloods, had been corralling kindred in the city for as yet unknown purposes. However, it did seem apparent that they were harvesting their blood, and our coterie members managed to get Annette Dubois and some other kindred loose from captivity in said area. The sounds of falling bodies from expertly placed sniper shots from Kenny Hartsmith and Camille alerted a lot of the yard members to the fact that something was going on, also providing a handy distraction at the same time as Sakura provided a handy distraction outside. The distraction, it seems, was enough, although momentary, for our country mates and these slowly recovering their senses other kindred to begin rushing for an exit. And as a hail of bullets began firing their way, the coterie witnessed a brief bright light appear and a man come into full view with large, almost hawk-like wings. The bullets seemed to slow and almost freeze in the air as the man suggested that they run, as he cannot do this forever. And this is where we pick up tonight, looking towards the figure of another man standing on top of one of these various shipping containers. The winged, rather handsome, dark haired man looks up to the older Caucasian man, let's say 50s, very well built, seems to have a suit on, and says to him, "I'm not quite sure what you're doing here, Zarakyle, but you can't fool them forever." The man who the coterie have come to understand as being Brian Davids, the founder of the Sunrise Association, responds and says, "If I want any advice from you, betrayer, I'll ask for it." The winged man on the ground says, "You know that what you're doing won't bring her back, don't you?" Brian Davids responds, "We'll see." Turning on his heels, the rest of the coterie and the errand group of kindred have begun making their way out, just as the remaining bullets that are frozen mid-air seem to begin speeding up once more, and the wicked figure disappears into the night. And as the coterie begin making their way back to their haven and various havens for the evening, my question is, where is everybody headed? What is your destination?
I feel like after that, it might be You can make arguments for sticking together and splitting up.
Yeah, I think because Sora still was driving with his Toyota Prius, right? So if that's the case, he's gonna drive it back to the Coteries house because he doesn't really have. Well, yeah, probably the Coteries house.
Your Prius
Mhm.
was left in a park not too far from this location, as you had been ambushed when meeting Camille. And Camille had thrown both Michaela and yourself into her, I believe we had said was Corvette.
No, it was a Charger.
A Charger, yeah,
Mhm.
her Charger,
Mhm.
and had driven off. So I don't believe you have picked it up.
No, that's so. I would like to ask if someone could be able to drop me off. My Toyota Prius has pretty much kind of like left on the side of the road, so therefore I can have something to drive, and then I would drive drive my way back to.
I would
Yeah.
also make the argument that we should stick together and discuss maybe what has happened. So Michaela would also probably be headed towards the Coterie Haven.
Mhm.
All right.
Given that my name was getting called out, specifically, Quinn doesn't really feel like being by himself right now is a good idea. Might get caught out, and we'll have to go on another adventure.
So Nikolai is going to do two things.
Yes.
First, I'm going to rouse the blood for some mending to take care of the superficial damage that he has hanging on him.
Oh, wait, you were healed too? You were injured too?
I was injured too. Yeah, I have an aggravated and a superficial. I got rid of the superficial just now.
Would Sora have been able to see those wounds, or would
I will point out that when this is happening right now, you are still trying to escape and make a direction towards somewhere from potential pursuers.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's still a mid-running process. It's not like we're relaxing somewhere inside our car or something. Okay, gotcha. Okay, no worries.
And I don't think Nikolai's injuries were necessarily immediate obvious, because he did get singed when he went jumping through the burning building a couple sessions back, but I don't think it was like blatantly obvious that he had been burned. So yeah, I will be one, getting rid of that superficial, which did make me a little hungrier. The other thing that I will be doing is upon and I might be mistaken, but I think based on the way the montage kind of played out, that Nikolai probably did bring his own vehicle to the proceedings.
I imagine so.
It got kind of skipped over. We were all hanging out at the university, and then we went to go meet with the other group, and it was just kind of through the power of editing.
There was a meeting point with Camille and some of her cohorts at a different location in these,
and then we all
shipping container areas.
Snuck to the location.
Yes.
Okay, so. Yes. The other thing that he would be doing in this situation then is running a blood surge to actually be able to get away better when it comes to that, because I'm full well accepting of the fact that Nikolai is not necessarily the most physical guy.
All right.
And that is also going to make him hungrier. So he is getting a little hungry, but he also he kills his food, so he's usually not terribly hungry to begin with. He's not a nice guy.
No.
And unfortunately, in the midst of the confusion, what he'll probably end up doing is when he does finally make it back to his car to finish escaping, he is going to head for his private haven. His reasoning for that is the Katori Haven doesn't serve needs that he has as a Zimissi. And he doesn't feel this is necessarily a good time for his will to be getting sapped from sleeping in a location that is not appropriate for him. However, when he does get to the university, he will text probably Elijah and I think Sora, actually, that he won't be returning to the communal haven that same evening, but that he will be there first thing the following evening.
All right. And Mr. Hartsmith, are you following the other members towards the Coterie Haven, or will you be going somewhere else?
I'm gonna go hunting.
You're gonna go hunting. All right. So, for the sake of these purposes, the coterie. Yes, Elijah has a question.
Elijah's not going back to the Coterie Haven. He still has the keys from the place Andre let him stay,
Yes.
and he's basically taking Annette there. He is gonna bully them into the car and be like, "No, you're not going anywhere out of my sight." And he will text Andre that, like,
All right.
"I still have your keys. Hope you don't mind."
Annette is not in a position to resist. They had a lot of blood taken from them, and they were able to reclaim some of their vitae in the quick exit from the container. But it wasn't a lot. So Annette will likely want to feed at some point, and they are, for one of the first times in your history with them, silent.
Which is good, because Elijah is very much relieved, but also severely pissed off.
Excellent. All right.
Excellent. I'm glad Elijah's pissed off.
Kenny?
5 successes.
5 successes. Excellent. Yes. So you are definitely able to find some food this evening, Kenny. You are able to make your way to a smallish clinic that is somewhere in the city, and you are able to sneak in just so to get a couple of blood bags. And for that, we can say that you are able to 5 successes is right. So let's say you get 4 blood bags out of that, because this is within this place would have been within the French Quarter, which is considered as being your chase or your domain, at least, which is good. All right.
Sapper will subconsciously adapt to the coterie.
Okay. All right. So Michaela and Quinn and Sakura and Sora, you make your way back to the Coterie Haven for the evening, and perhaps a little bit relieved in some circumstances that things seemed to have gone your way in some ways, perhaps a little bit worried in other circumstances that, well, there are people and events taking place. There are events taking place with certain people which are out of your control for the moment, and also potentially very confusing as well. So let's focus in on that for a second, as Quinn and Sora and Sakura and Michaela are back at the communal haven. You enter into the house, perhaps together for the first time in that house for at least 5 days, I believe, at this point, or 5 nights at this point.
Just to clarify, did Camille return as well, or did she head somewhere else?
Camille has taken off with some of her cohorts to help the other kindred which were evacuated back to places which they might feel comfortable in. and she would have told you that she does need to report into, even though she is Anarch faction, this was a joint operation, and she will be having to let the sheriff know that they have. Oh, we lost someone.
Oh, they said the internet cut out.
All right. Should
Don't go missing.
All right, everybody. Thank you for bearing with our internet issues there, but we are back up and running. Our coterie mates, at least a number of them, have returned to their communal haven. And as all of you step into the living space which you share, which have not shared together for about 5 or so days, you, if you were human, would breathe a sigh of relief for a certain sense that this operation went well, and that one of your goals, at least of retrieving Annette and some of these other people, have been accomplished. Also with the knowledge that your boon for help from the Keeper in retrieving Kenny has been paid. How would you like to proceed for the evening? I realize I had the wrong track playing there. I will change tracks.
Sora will look towards the others, saying, "Is anyone else injured? Is anyone hurt?"
I think we're okay, Kira. Sorry, not Kira. I think we're okay, Sora. I think we're all just shaken up with what happened, but physically, I think we're all good for now.
Okay, well, if you discover like an injury or something like that, just let me know. Yeah, I
Quinn's
can.
looking around. Nope, no bullet holes. I think I'm okay. Physically.
Well, that's good. Can we try not to do that again?
What, get shot? I didn't get shot.
Well, the whole time I felt like I was like in like the 18 or something like that, which was really weird. I've never saw myself as like an action hero, and it felt really strange. I like to draw, and so I would like, hopefully in the future, if we could try to avoid maybe gunshots, and he looks towards the bullet hole in Michaela's chest,
In
like
Michaela's
that
shirt.
shirt. Yeah, we like that. Maybe we can avoid that in the future if possible.
Nah, kid, you were awesome. It was amazing to see you doing that thing with the hand. Oh shit. Forget you heard that.
Steven!
No, you're hearing things.
Just show yourself, dude.
Wait, who's that?
A figure unobfuscates himself. Hi. Sorry, I was kind of caught up in all that too. I was trying to help out from the sidelines, but I don't really know those people, and I kind of know you, so I thought that I'd hitch a ride without you knowing I was in the car.
Where were you sitting?
And what did
you don't want to know.
And what did you see?
Well, maybe nothing.
Inside check. Inside check. Wee whoop. Okay.
You don't need to roll an inside check. This was said with the
very obviously
obviously
I
I saw something. What you gonna do about it? Or what you gonna give me for it?
Steven, do I need to tell Peaches about this?
Do I need to tell Peaches about this? He has his hand on his phone.
Wait, What is it? Wait a second. I'm doing a favor, and then this is the thanks I get. I put my life in. I'm going to my room, and you know what? No, nobody has access.
Michaela races her phone and is like, "Do I need to tell Elijah about this?"
Look, we're all in a bit of a standoff here.
In our home that you snuck into. Continue.
True. However,
Who's the
all I
faster
want.
texter?
Well, we can find out, or you can help me get the fuck out of Louisiana, which I've been trying to do for a year as payment, and I won't say jack shit.
Can you not just leave?
No, I can't leave. They could be like, oh, no, you're one of the family now. Yeah, it's like, but this isn't where I live. I've been trying to get back to New York for a goddamn year.
I mean, all you have to do is ask. Like,
that's what I'm
there's
doing,
no
but
need
I'm
for
trying to have
blackmailing.
leverage
No.
upon you people.
But you don't need that. You should know this, Steven.
You've been hanging out with us for a year. You know that we would probably help you.
If Elijah was here, he'd get you out for payment for not shooting you. Like
Elijah still owes me a guitar. I want the guitar and then help, and then I don't really know what he was doing with that thing. Like, I don't care what I saw, really. Frankly, I just need help getting out. If one of you can help me get out of the city somehow as fast as possible, because every time I try to do it, I can't go back to Lafayette because all the other goddamn cousins want me to stay around, and I can't, I'm a solitary creature. I don't want to be around all these people.
You're trying to get back to New York?
Yes.
I can give you a cover to leave.
Thank you. That's all that
Also,
I want.
you're very lucky that Elijah didn't come with us, because he would give you the guitar and smash it over your head for just doing this.
I mean, probably. You have a point there. Either way, I will... Can I stay here until I leave so I don't have to get fucking dragged into more of their bullshit? Oh no, we just lost Michaela.
I'm right here.
Oh no, not Michaela. We just lost Sora. Sorry.
Don't.
And we're back again. Let's take demons today, guys, but we are with it. All right. So Stephen was just saying, it's okay. I can stay here. I mean, I wasn't gonna tell anybody anyway. Honestly, the less I have to deal with people is fine, basically. If you say I could stay here until I can leave, then I would be most grateful.
You just hear and the door, as you can feel the power tools is coming out as the Bank of America door is already starting to make its way into front of the room. He's like, I ain't got time for this. I wasted all my composure trying to save these individuals. I can't take this madness. I'm drinking all of my stress and strain and shame onto this door. Boom, boom, boom. And that's all you hear next to the door.
Sakura is begrudgingly sending a text message to her brother that she's sending someone there with him as a cover.
Very good. That is received.
Michaela puts down her phone and exits out of the text message that she was about to send Elijah.
Sakura actually does text Elijah, but it's about flowers.
So it's about to get
flowers?
You don't need to know.
Okay.
There are cocktails in the garden.
All right.
You don't need to know.
Sounds like a code word. Pineapples. Pineapples.
All right.
Yeah, just so you know he's talking about flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, Michaela understands that.
Sure.
Completely.
All right.
Completely.
Nothing to see here.
Kenny, after your hunt, and you have retrieved your blood bags from the supply. What's your intention? Back to your private haven, or for? Okay, to sort of decompress there for a bit. All right. So we're going to, unless anybody has anything specific they want to do or anyone they want to talk to on this evening for decompressing, we will go ahead and move to the next night.
Sakura is going to give Steven the details that he needs for convincing cover, and then she will go find Michaela.
All right. So Sakura does that, and you find Michaela. Perhaps, I'm not sure where is Michaela right now.
Michaela's in her room, just sort of like looking around the room that she has in the coterie. It's very bare because she doesn't really put a lot of stuff in there because she doesn't know what's a good decoration to have in her room. So it's pretty bare, just a bookshelf, a bed. Of course, everything is in red because she thinks it's pretty, but everything is in red.
Sakura does not bother knocking, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And just comes in, shutting the door behind her, and just, what the hell was that? Why?
What?
Why the hell did he show up? Like, I'm glad he helped, but like,
Oh yeah, I don't even know. I'm just a little bit confused about everything that happened tonight. This was a really weird night.
Do we ask him?
I don't know.
Maybe? You wanna try?
Maybe not here, because you remember how...
Yeah, good point. There's enough Nosferatu in the house. Damn it.
Yeah. So, not here.
Yeah.
Somewhere else would be a good place.
Go to my house for a little bit?
Sure. I just want to tell Sora and Quinn that we might be leaving for a little bit and that we could come back later tonight. But other than that, I don't... I think we should be talking about this not here.
Okay.
So, storyteller question.
Yes.
Was your boy able to complete that Bank of America door before the end of the night?
Let's have you make a roll for it, because you've been doing you've been trying to figure out how to do this with a number of how-to videos and stuff like that. So you're not inept, but you haven't done it physically yourself yet. So we'll go ahead and have this be an intelligence and technology, or if you like, you can use crafts as well. It's not your craft specifically, but it is building something.
Okay. And you know what? For this occasion, because this is his stress reliever, he's going to rouse the blood. Because he's like, I'm tired of this. Let me just go ahead and get this set up. This is my barrier. This is my wall of China.
You will get it done. This is just going to determine, how expert or how quick you are in putting this in right now.
Okay.
But also, you have windows, right?
No, I would be burnt to a crisp if that was the case. I'm not that high of a level with this, yo.
It's
they're
a
totally
house,
covered, but they're still there.
I'll leave that up to Sword to decide if your room had windows or not, because perhaps yours is one of the ones that is more towards the back and does not have windows, or maybe you've boarded it up. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, if he's blocked, I don't think there would be any windows in his place. He would definitely make sure if any room had no windows, he would try to grab it in a heartbeat, because he likes that nice closed up enclosure. Like the opposite of claustrophobic.
If Sakura sees him doing the door, she will just give little tips like, you gotta screw that one, not that one. Knowing full well he's not gonna listen to her, but like giving genuine advice.
I mean, he'll listen. He'll listen, but he kind of gives her not like the full steak face, but kind of like the this is fishy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me give this a try.
But
All
also,
right.
Michaela's thinking about how hilarious it would be if one of the coterie members just goes through like the wall, like the Kool-Aid Man, because it's not like it's just a door. So I mean, you're just reinforcing
mean-
the
plans.
door.
Hey,
So,
There are
but
plans
we're not.
happening.
I'm not gonna tell Sora this, but this is like the thought that Michaela has while she's encouraging him to make his door.
One might almost say that the discipline of potence exists for a reason.
for the Kool-Aid Man, absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
He was the
Sakura
first
is
potent user.
helping him, but she knows full well that this
Thank
will
you.
not stop
Thank you
anybody
for
who
giving me
actually
future
wants.
character ideas.
Kool-Aid Man. So with willpower used, your boy got 6 successes. So okay.
Honestly, it's very, very quick. In terms of this, it's still at least an hour to set it up, but that's very quick for this type of setup. But you had been preparing, so you had made sure all ready for a while. It was set up against the wall. You'd had your right screws sort of aligned. You'd had the power tools that you need. Everything was ready. You were just well, what's the point? No one's here anyway. So it was very, very quick, about an hour's time. And I'm assuming that in this time, Sakura and Michaela would have already told Quinn and Sora that they will be gone for a while instead of standing around for an hour. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah.
So Sora will peep through the Bank of America window like, boop. An hour, huh? All right, we'll see. And he got boop, and he goes back inside the room.
All right. So we'll cut to that there. Michaela and Sakura are at Sakura's haven. And Sakura, do you want to? I don't believe we've actually seen your personal haven before. What does Michaela see upon entering?
The main room is just like a living room with little kids. It's not a huge apartment. It's 2-bedroom, but a corner of the living room has been hastily converted into an office.
Okay.
Because she just cleared out the other bedroom. So it's
right.
like it's comfy and it's like modern, but it's just a little apartment.
Okay, very nice. And as you two find yourself in this apartment, perhaps sitting down on one of the available sofas or by a table or some such, you are fairly confident that you are able to talk as freely as you can.
Sakura will make sure the doors are locked and put on Sense the Unseen.
Go ahead and roll it for me.
Now she's taking no chances.
Three successes. From what you can tell, it does appear as if you are alone. You don't notice any signs of anything else around either.
Michaela's not as paranoid, so she trusts Sakura, so she's just gonna chill out, probably. Yeah.
All right.
So Sakura is gonna put the coin on the table and just shout, "Lucifer!" as loud as she can.
Do you think that would work? Like a cell
We're
phone
gonna find out.
pager? Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to find out.
Make a charisma and occult roll for me, please.
Charisma and what? Sorry.
Occult.
Okay. This is the only thing she could think of to get him there. So. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So You and Michaela are sitting there for a while trying to get this to work. And after about 25 or so minutes, you are quite ready to give up when you hear a woman's voice speaking to you from the room. And you turn and see a woman with long brown hair and a beautiful green satin dress that is on her. And the style is very, very different from things you would have seen before. It seems of a cut and fashion that does not necessarily belong in modern time per se, but also at the same time is reminiscent of certain Greco-Roman fashions, but also not. It seems to be a cut and style which comes from who knows when. This woman has slightly olive skin and very piercing green eyes, and she has her arms sort of folded, and she looks at you and says, shouting at me like that isn't exactly the way to get my attention, but simple prayers will do, or, but I've been standing here for about 20 minutes wondering when you'd look my way, but I thought it would be fun to see you trying this for a moment. How can I help you?
You look a little
Sakura,
different tonight.
yeah, Sakura just eyes it for a minute, but really it's not the weirdest possible thing that can happen. And just puts her book down. Well, you didn't exactly tell us how to contact you. We kind of had to guess.
This is true. I do not exactly tell you how to contact me. And yes, I do look different. This is something I'm trying on for a while. It's fashion as it comes and goes.
How do you like it?
It's quite nice, actually. I mean, these are lovely. It's not all the time I get to experience that, but
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But you did call for a reason. I assume you wanted to ask about the incident this evening.
Yeah, about that.
Like, thank you for helping, but also, what?
What did you do?
Why did you do? How did you do?
Who did you do?
I don't think we need that much.
A lady never tells. Well, it's complicated. Suffice to say that there are things which you perhaps would worry about and think about on your side of the spectrum of things, and there are things which I think on my side of the spectrum. And there are events which mildly coincide, but I'm doing what I can to mitigate fallout from my people.
Who are you talking to, by the way? I heard you talk to somebody.
That was my next question.
An old friend. Sakura, with your sense the unseen, which you had turned on earlier, you notice a few things when looking at the form of the light ring in front of you. The first that you notice is that this body seems to give off two very different auras. One which seems to actually be the aura of a living person kind. The other which seems to be a very different, very vibrant, and very dark aura at the same time.
She's gonna note that but let him speak before she asks. Let him finish what he was saying.
Questions that are pointed might be more helpful for you in this circumstance. There are things that I would not like to get you involved in, which perhaps you do not need to be involved in, but I already explained some of how my kind work, in a sense.
Question to the storyteller.
Yes.
We do we know that the guy he was talking to was the head of the Sunrise Association? Like, could we tell?
This is information that you had gotten last year already, when you had been sort of trailing the people that had been, what is the word for it, stalking Miss Lolita.
Okay.
So you had already, through combination of a number of you, managed to track down the name of Brian Davids, who as the head of the Sunrise Association.
So she will just look at her and, okay, pointed question. How do you know the head of the Sunrise Association? Because that's super suspicious.
The man himself, personally, I do not know. I know the being that is now inside of him.
How long can you do that for?
It depends. At a certain point in our existence, we had to take on a physical form, which we did not have. Often this necessitates us finding someone that is at the brink of death and offering them a bargain. Once the bargain is accepted, which it almost always is, we are able to have a new host.
Is that what you did with her?
Well, this is one of many faces which I can choose to keep. It is among my own abilities.
Ah.
So you can keep one for like over a year?
We can keep a host for a very, very long time.
So, second question. Why is the guy you know trying to hunt down Kindred?
You can see that the Lightbringer is doing exactly what I'm doing right now, taking some time and deciding how much they want to involve you in their own affairs. And eventually she speaks. We can talk perhaps another time on this. You have issues which are more pressing to you on a personal level. I will not deny you answers. However, for right now, these answers might cause more confusion or more worry for you than you will need where you are going in the next few nights.
Is there any information you can give to alleviate suspicion so that we can know that we should trust you when you just addressed the guy who's been hunting our kind for over a year?
In a very friendly manner at that, too.
I see you are leaving me with very little choice.
Like, we've trusted your to this point and is just wanted
I
to make sure we
understand.
still can.
I understand. I understand. I am, and they do sit down on a chair that is next to you. I am not wanting to give you more undue stress than is necessary, but I can explain in brief that might perhaps help you understand a few things. A very, very long time ago, perhaps, and I say perhaps because to most of my kind, these things are very unclear. What was done to us has become muddled and confused over the eons. Much of what we remember might not be true. Much of what we believe might never have existed. But from what we can remember and what we think might be true, there was one that was above all, that had created our kind. And this one, we believe, laid a curse upon us for attempting to assist humanity in certain ways. Some of us, like myself, were able to not necessarily escape this curse. As I was a leader among my people, I was cursed in a different way. But many of my brethren were put into a prison, this same place that holds your young Ricky. Not exactly the same place, but in the abyss. I was placed outside as punishment so that those who were inside would forever feel that I had abandoned them. Some years ago, we don't know why, we were able to escape, or at least those who were trapped there were able to escape. Many of them finding physical form, as I have mentioned here. Those people who were at death's door, who needed something to believe in to keep going. I believe that your Brian Davids must have been in this situation. And at that moment of his escape, Zerakyle found him and offered him a boon. As I've mentioned, faith is important to us. I believe that Zerakyle, in his madness, believes that what he is doing will somehow bring the one who made us, my people, back from wherever it is they've gone. For it seems we have been abandoned. When my kind escaped their prison, their curse, the others were gone. The one above all was gone. Those which had been once called by many names, but some might call them angels, were gone. What we had seen as heaven is empty. Whatever Zerakyle is doing, he believes this might bring the attention of my kind's progenitor back
Hmm.
and hopefully end his curse. And this
Do I believe
is
him?
you can roll an insight check there if you like. You can roll a wits and insight.
I'm also
I
gonna
did.
roll a wits and insight check for myself as well.
Okay.
One success and very nearly a bestial fail.
Flips table.
Yeah.
What was the roll again? Wits and insight.
Insight. Mhm.
Cool. So it's 3 successes.
3 successes. Sakura, it's hard to get a beat on this being in front of you. It's a very involved story. Michaela, you are looking for those signs that a human physiology might give away of falsehoods, twitches in the face, or the eyes looking to a direction which might be considered a creative direction rather than a memory direction. And you don't necessarily pick up on any of those ticks. So, for the most part, you believe that what this being is saying to you, they at least believe is true.
Cool. All right.
And
I guess.
as I said, difficult story and not entirely for you to worry about. It's something I have to deal with on my own.
I mean, technically we do because he's hunting our kind. Like, specifically.
True. On that aspect, you can deal with things, but remember that what we get to fuel ourselves is dependent upon faith. You cannot hope to attack Sarakiel. You would be obliterated without a moment's cause. However, you can attack the faith that he is receiving, weakening him enough for me to remove him from the body of Brian Davis.
Go for the heart, not the head.
Yes.
Who do we have who's good at PR campaigns?
If only you had an influencer on the internet.
We're gonna have to find one of those. It's gonna be our first priority.
Indeed.
If only Quinn was around.
Now, that is all that I can tell you for this evening. I am a little bit depleted myself from helping out. I should like to rest. And you have a day or two to prepare yourselves for your next venture.
Thank you for your help. And sorry for yelling at you, but
It was quite funny, to be honest, but really just a simple prayer will do.
Yeah, now I know that.
Thank you for helping, like Sakura said, and the information that you gave us. We should be heading out to try and retrieve Ricky. And again, I do want to make it clear that I don't think that I have such strong faith in you per se, but I have faith in Sakura and I in achieving the goal that we have to save Ricky. And I hope that's clear to you, sir?
This is what drew me to you in the first place. That beacon of belief and faith.
Okay. Because I will not be. I hope it's clear that I am not a follower of whatever this is.
I understand, and I understand your reticence. As I've said before, if there comes a time where you feel that you might need my assistance, you can think of me, and that might provide me the help that I need to help you.
Sort of like a quid pro quo situation, right?
Mm.
Cool.
Think of it more like those electric cars. Sometimes they need to be recharged.
Aye.
Yes.
Cool. That makes sense.
I am not altruistic.
Oh, I never
have-
thought you were.
Good. I am, however, honest. Although I have a reputation for being otherwise.
People can't get away from their reputations, it seems.
No.
I like honesty, just so that's clear.
Good. Perhaps one day I will show you what my host actually looks like then.
Yeah.
Good evening. And there is a flurry of green silk, and they are no longer there. All right. So, anything else for the remainder of the evening, or are our coterie members going to sleep for the night?
I think Michaela and Sakura probably head back to the Communal Haven first.
I assumed so. All right, excellent. So, resting in different havens, some of you with reunited friends, some of you behind the safety of a bank door, some of you surrounded by your knowledge of academia, which bring you succor and sustenance in ways which cannot be explained to other clans. You all have the night's sleep. And everyone can go ahead and make your rouse checks for waking up in the daytime. Oh, sorry, not the daytime. That would be a different role entirely.
Nikolai's
Still
going to
hunger
be
one.
making 4 because he's got some aggravated damage to heal.
My rouse check is successful.
Sakura's a little bit hungry.
Failed one of the 4 that I had to do there, so I'm up to 3 hunger now. So I think the very first thing Nikolai's doing tonight is trying to see if he can find a suitable target in the medical ward.
Go ahead and make your hunting roll there.
I succeed.
Okay.
Uh, 7 with a crit.
Okay. Yes. You are able to find someone in the ward. It is actually one of the burn victims still that has been holding on from the fire that took down Annette's building and many others. They have been in intensive care for quite some time, and no one expected them to pull through and survive. And honestly, it's just been one of those things where people have been waiting for them to exhale or expire, shall we say.
Nikolai will, after reading over the chart, set that back down on the end of the bed there and walk up to the burn victim. He'll take a seat in a chair and kind of scoot very close over to them and simply whisper, "Child of Seth, rest well knowing that your life will finally have some true meaning," before plunging his fangs into their neck and draining them dry.
And with those 7 successes, the planning and timing of everything was meticulously done so that there is no issue as you seal up the wounds with your saliva once it is done.
And at that note, Nikolai is making a beeline for the Katori Haven.
So I forgot. I had to rouse to heal myself from absorbing the damage that Elijah took. And I got a little hungrier. So I am going to ask for Lagatha to go ahead and bring in some nice, delicious rabbits for me to chump Cheerio on.
All right, very good. Go ahead and roll that.
Hey, the rabbits is all he know. I mean, animals just taste delicious. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Magically delicious.
Magically delicious.
Magically delicious.
Oh, and then one for her. Yep. Okay.
I do not know how to cook rabbit properly. I tried to roast one once when I was in Cambodia. I bought some rabbits from Vietnam, and it was okay, but a little bit stringy. So I need to learn how to do it better. Their bones are surprisingly enormous. Yeah, their bones are really hard.
They're supposed to be stringy because they're usually not very fatty if they're wild.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
they're constantly on a run.
One of my classes back in college was a cultural class, so they always like brought different kinds of like meat for us to taste. I've had kangaroo, mouse,
delicious.
And a rabbit, and snake, frog. It's just so much fun. Like rabbit was actually pretty interesting taste.
Yeah, I can definitely see how learning how to cook it better would be a good thing.
4 successes.
Sure. Yeah, you were able to get your happy snack for this evening.
Yes,
which is great. As I wanted to say Elijah, but it's not Elijah. As Nikolai has finished up at the university, or at the hospital, and had his fill of vitae for the evening, you do receive a phone call. And the number that is listed on your phone is from the sheriff, Gerard Baxter. I think you might be muted there, Alex.
Yeah, it was. He'll go ahead and take the call, yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Baxter.
Good evening, Monsieur Dietrich. We have good news, huh? The operation last night was successful, so we are in the position to proceed once you are all ready. The keeper is awaiting simply your instructions. I believe that the information from your friend said that we needed to head to the swamp, huh? Frane, the old cemetery.
Correct. I'm going to gather my associates as we speak, so we can meet you within the next 2 hours.
Very good. Now, I wanted to make sure that you at least understand, and you will probably not be surprised, that this is not an easy task, huh? For Elise to do herself, yes? There will be prices that must be paid, and it is likely they will need to be paid by the mother of the missing child, huh?
I'm sure that will be fine.
I hope so. We have already procured the assets we need for this evening.
Splendid.
We shall see you there.
Hang up.
And with that, unless my actual question before this is to Kenny. Would Kenny want to have some conversations before everyone begins to head to the swamp, or not?
With whom?
Anybody in the country?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that, even though we have had technical difficulties, we are going to take a bit of a break here, everyone, and we will be back for the next part in roughly 15 minutes. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. It's been more than a few nights since Ricky, the young Nosferatu adopted child of Sakura, had been taken and pulled into some kind of rift into what our coterie have come to understand would be the abyss or the Shadowlands, the place where the dead that are restless reside. Many bargains and lines of inquisition have been made to get to the point where they are tonight. And as the coterie once again finds themselves on a riverboat heading out into the area of Frenier, the town which was destroyed by a hurricane so long ago. The air around them is humid, the buzzing of insects, sounds of creatures in the water, and frogs. But the night has a certain tinge to it, a certain quality to it, almost expectant, hungry in a sense. Coming up to the area which would once have housed houses and potential farms and buildings of all sorts. Now it is mostly swamp. Occasionally, the ruins of shacks can be found. It is near one of these shacks in a patch of land that is still walkable and usable that the riverboat has pulled up and is turned off, once again operated by your friend, the Ratkin, Mr. Carlyle. And he says to you all, "Mm, uh, this time, I'm not going to stay around. Maybe, mm, I don't know. I will ask one of the others to get in contact with me to bring you back whenever you like. But last time, mm, you know, the hungry ones, they were scary. So I won't be staying around."
You know,
Off, get off my boat.
they had a rush as well. They kind of like
We're in
steps
the
up.
wrong line of work.
Elijah, being the pettiest toreador, takes the longest to get off the boat.
Carlisle makes sure his hood is up and sorry for being a little rude, but things are still not that safe out in the swamps. But good luck and do not die a second time. The fan boat begins to take off. You all begin making your way towards the area that is still available for tourists to come during the day or the night if they so seek to. Occasionally, there are ghost hunters that do come out here with video cameras and seek to tell stories on the internet. But as you are walking closer to this very small, old cemetery, I'd like everyone please to make a wits and awareness roll for me.
I would definitely have heightened senses of since we were traveling to the work.
And the unseen would be up as well.
So yeah,
Same
because
for me.
red
Like,
alert.
Sense the unseen.
This is definitely red alert for me.
Okay.
Also, I will have Cloak of Shadows up as well for myself. Just in,
I
but it's not
Cloak
part of it.
Shadows works when you're standing still, I think.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do Unseen Passage.
Okay.
Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that I've eaten since morning?
Can you say that again?
Is it safe to say that Sakura got something to eat before they left?
You have a herd, yes?
Okay. Yes.
Or yes, it is safe to say that. So 2 successes, 4 successes. All right.
1 success.
1 success, 2 from Kira, 4 from Ari, 2 from Andrea.
I got a
Fine.
5 success. Oh.
All right, 5 successes. Don't know why that one seems so loud. All right, so for Elijah, you are definitely able to pick out that there are some figures gathered near the more inner parts of this old abandoned cemetery. You can see that there appear to be, in the darkness, it's difficult to tell exactly, but there is definitely a much taller person, a shorter one, and there appear to be, from this distance, 2 much shorter figures. It's difficult to make out entirely, but as you begin walking closer, you can see that these figures seem to be, the ones that seem to be much shorter seem to be 2 figures that might be on their knees. Since the unseen for, so Michaela, you did not have Sense the Unseen, right? You were using your heightened senses as well?
So I'm only using Sense the Unseen,
Okay.
and what's in awareness, um,
Okay.
and I got a 5 success.
Okay. 5 successes. And Sakura,
I
you also had Sense the Unseen up, yes?
Yes, but I only got one.
Okay. All right.
and also when we started walking, I just basically um did unseen passage,
Mm.
just preemptively.
All right. Very good. So, Michaela, the area around you here is full, just absolutely full of what you can only describe as tendrils of mist, which occasionally seem to form into mildly humanoid shapes and then disperse. They can't quite seem to get purchase or hold onto any form. And occasionally you will hear with this unusual non-hearing what sounds sort of like cries of fear or on occasion, but it's very brief, or what sounds like a half spoken word that you can't quite catch. But there are a lot of these around, and it's very heavy on the graveyard as well. Sakura, with your 1 success, you catch smaller pieces of this, not the auditory portions, but occasionally you see these wisps of mist which sort of form into a face or being, but it's very brief for you. Kenny, can you please roll me a wits, occult, and oblivion? Sorry, not occult. Wits, insight, and oblivion.
Four successes.
4 successes. That feeling, that thread, that scent that you have come to associate with oblivion seems to really hang heavily in this place, but it's a little bit more than that. It's like you feel like you could put your hand in the middle of something and widen some invisible gap. It's very odd.
He definitely doesn't do that, but that is good to know.
You begin making your way closer into the cemetery, and shortly you make out the form of Gerard Baxter, the sheriff of the Camarine, and Elise Guthrie, the keeper. Gerard being a quite tall man with long black hair that is shaved to one side, and Elise being a shorter woman, around 5'8". I mean, comparatively, next to the very tall figure of Gerard, she is a shorter person of around 5'8", and of Asian descent. She has her hair this evening done up in a bit of a bun at the back of her hair, sort of loose, and it is pinned just so. She is wearing what looks to be a cross between a functional ceremonial black robe and a couture evening dress. It is cinched about the waist with a golden cord, and on her face there is half of a white mask that is covering her face. Next to them, there are two shapes which are covered in a sheet, but you can make out that these appear to be two kneeling forms, both of them covered in individual sheets. Approaching, Gerard nods his head to you and says, I would say it is good that you could come here tonight, but I know these circumstances are not ideal for everyone. Huh? I am here to observe that the agreement that was made for the completion of the boon is seen through, and to perhaps ward against any outside interference, huh? But my part in this will be on the outside.
Your assistance is most appreciated, Sheriff.
I will be observing from a safe distance. From what I understand, good luck. You might need it. And he nods to Elise, and then he moves off further into the night where you can't quite see where he is, but you are aware that he is around. Michaela, with your sense the unseen up, you can actually make out bits and pieces of his movements and where he might be. The figure of the keeper, which very few of you have interacted with, nods their head and says, "Who among you is the mother of the missing child?"
Sakura will step forward. She's dressed very differently this evening. She is wearing like black tactile clothes with like, but she has like a pink ribbon on her arm, so that she's still identifiable, even though she's still a pink beacon. She has her hair tied up and out of the way, and her makeup is not half like adorable, and it is a bit more intense.
Interesting.
And she has her tactile backpack with all of her random stuff that she thinks she's gonna need. And she will step forward.
You have dressed appropriately. Well done. I am also given to understand that one of you has seen which of these graves is the grave of Julia Brown, yes? Michaela, you were the one that was sort of given the location.
The information,
The
yeah.
information. Yes. So will Michaela step forward?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Will Michaela be answering the keeper here?
Yeah. She would tell him the name of the uh let me pull up my note for that one. The grave, and where, where we would go, because based on the information, it would be there that we need to go to.
Elise nods her head, and you lead the group further into the graveyard to an area that, interestingly enough, seems separated from the rest of the grave stones and headstones that are around it. It is almost as if those that had buried Julia Brown had not wanted her body to be close to the body of their own
To others, basically.
beloved dead. Elise nods her head and says, "Very good. Now I will begin the ceremony. I myself am not familiar with this section of the Shadowlands. However, with what I have been told, this one will be able to lead the way. And so you will need to speak to her, I imagine." "Kindly give me some room."
I would step away.
All right. Elise reaches into a satchel that she keeps attached to her side, and she pulls out what appears to be 5 sticks of charcoal. Sora, you would notice that these are charcoal pieces that you would be able to draw with if you want to. They are more manageable than large chunks of charcoal, and definitely of a higher quality. Elise begins crushing the charcoal in her hand and walking around the gravestone. You begin to see that tendrils of dark energy begin to seep from her eyes and drain down her face, almost like tears, her already pale form becoming paler still in the moonlight, her skin turning a mottled gray as she begins to walk and recite a chant. The voice that is coming from her is troubling, discordant, the words seeming to be nonsensical yet disturbing in nature. As she completes the circle, she reaches again into her pouch and pulls out a set of pliers, reaches up into her mouth, pulls out one of her fangs, lays it on the gravesite. Vitae begins dripping out of her mouth, reaches up and pulls out the second fang, reaches it onto the gravesite, and then she takes a blade and slices across both of her wrists. You have all fed this evening, but the scent of fresh vitae fills the area. It smells potent, but also wrong is the best way to describe it. And she begins calling in this voice, which is odd, raspy. Julia Brown, a gift has been given. The ceremony is complete. You may come to us now. And as she says this, from inside the circle that she has put on the ground of charcoal, the darkness that was seeping from her radiates out into a blasting circle. Her arms go down and her head goes up, and you feel and see from out of this grave there is a howling wind and a vortex which seems to form, and a form of darkness moves up out of the grave and down the throat of Elise Guthrie. And she puts her head forward and opens her eyes. When she addresses you, it sounds as if there are two voices coming from her at the same time. I thought this day would come. Coming knocking on Julia Brown's door for the sins of that vile, vile woman. And her head sort of snaps very quickly to the side to look at Sakura. You are the one.
I am.
I can open the way for you to the labyrinth, child. I can bring you there, to where that wretched woman who caused so much pain to my family and to her own child resides still to this day. But there is a price. How much are you willing to pay for your family, for your child?
Sakura will look her dead in the eyes with like a very flat expression and just, I will give everything to get him back.
She reaches out her hand without looking at you, and you notice that the two figures that were kneeling people, they seem to levitate and come towards this circle. The sheets that were covering them fly off, and you see the unconscious form of a young woman, perhaps 19 years old, one which Quinn and Nikolai recognize from having been around the university campus. No one you know particularly, but you know that she is a college student. The second figure seems to be an older gentleman, perhaps in his late 60s. They do not look to be related, but she says to you, these two are the last two, the last descendants of those who would have stood by as my cousin. As my cousin was taken and vilified and killed for something that that woman had brought upon her own family. But know that they have done nothing in this life to harm anyone. One will open the way. One will get you there. If you give me both, you will be able to get back. And my own bonds to this world will finally be dissolved. This is your choice. Only the mother can decide.
May I have a moment to deliberate?
The dead have all the time in eternity.
Sakura is going to go over to Andre. And I'm going to say, if anything goes wrong, get Ricky out. Leave me, get him. If you must.
Consider it done.
She'll turn to Elijah and hand him a key. And this is to my apartment. If anything happens to me, you take Ricky and you take care of him.
Can do. He'll take the key and put it in his pocket.
And she's gonna just go over to Michaela, take her hand, put the coin in her hand, close it, and then take out her knife and turn to the two. And she will kill them both.
As you attempt to plunge the knife into them, a hand comes up and says, "Your choice is both."
Will it give me the best odds?
With two, I will be freed, and I will let you be able to walk in and out. With one, you will be able to get in, but my business will not be completed.
Do you intend to do anything to harm anybody I gather? If you leave?
I can only do what I can from here, as my fetters are tied to this place.
And both will give me the best chance of getting my kid back. So both.
No. There is no best chance, Mother. There is only what you do.
I do not know if I can trust in my way out. And if this is certain to get us in and out, it's what I'll do.
She holds up another hand, and one of the sheets which had covered the forms of the people, one of them goes taut behind the grave, and the body of the unconscious woman, floats up to the sheet. The other form of the body, the other person, floats up closer to the form of the now occupied keeper Elise Guthrie. This one will satiate her while she does what she needs to do. And you see that the knife that was in possession of the keeper comes up once more, and she makes the cuts that were on her arms deeper and beckons you all forward.
Kenny does not step forward.
Those
I'm a
who
little
do.
concerned.
Okay. Who is stepping forward?
Nikolai steps forward without hesitation.
Michaela steps forward without hesitation.
So
Chapter is already forward.
All right. The blood that is dripping from the keeper's arms onto her hands seems to be merging with this liquid darkness and smoke that is coating her arms, and she kneels down and begins to coat your shoes and the bottom of your shoes with her vitae. She begins to coat the top of your heads with this mixture of vitae, and she is saying some kind of words and incantations the whole time. The smell of blood is intense. I will need everyone in the vicinity to make a forensic check for me, please.
As in, like, everybody that's getting wiped down? Or just everybody?
No, everybody. It's a lot of blood.
So much blood.
What role is it again?
So it's resolve and composure and a third of your humanity.
So just to clarify, since I'm a farmer, does it like human blood not really be that tasty to me? So would I still need to make a frenzy check?
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
6 with a crit.
Okay. So
No
like-
blood died, correct?
No blood dye, yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
9 with a crit.
All right.
5.
5.
Any crits? Any to math?
Okay.
12 with 3 crits.
Girl.
What?
Every single success is a crit.
Damn.
8 with 3 crits.
Damn. You were only looking for a success of 4 here, people.
It was like, yeah, we ain't dealing with no blood.
So that's everybody?
No, I
I'm
haven't
not
rolled yet.
thirsty at all.
Okay.
Watch Sweet Bean be the only one that's hungry.
Please make.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. So good.
All right. So as the ceremony is complete, the occupied keeper quite ravenously darts towards the floating man and begins to drink and drink and drink, draining every last drop, and his body falls to the ground. And then she points Sakura to the floating sheet, which has the body of the young woman against it. And she says to you, from sternum to navel, as deep as you can, through to the sheet.
Sakura will put it on her. Is the girl conscious? Can she carry it?
She is not conscious, but she is breathing.
She is just gonna lean in and whisper to the girl, "I'm sorry," and just as hard as she can, just stab downwards.
Make a strength and melee roll for me, please.
That's bad already. One success on one die.
One success. You push and push, and you can see that blood starts coming out of this woman's mouth, and her eyes flick open, and she is beginning to struggle and try to move, but she cannot speak, and words are trying to come out of her mouth, and she is looking at you in the eyes with this look of, please, you need to stop, you're killing me here. But you keep pushing, and eventually you push through to this sheet, and very, very difficultly you begin moving the blade down through the sheet. And as you do, you will take a stain on your humanity. We will roll for whether or not you lose that humanity later, but you do take a stain for violating your conviction, as it had been expressly stated that both of these people had done nothing wrong to anyone at any time. As the knife reaches its end point, there is a rush of wind and force as it begins to suck and move through the body of the now deceased woman, and her blood coats the sheet. And where the incision was made, you see that a gap begins to widen and widen out and widen out to form what Kenny, with your previous sight, is a familiar emptiness, blackness, darkness, hole in space, which is hungry and sucking and draining. And that is where we'll pause our story for this evening.